I'm smiling from ear to ear. You are? Why? Because we're doing this? Or did something else happen? Oh, is Em in here? Can someone send me the link? I don't see it. I see. It's not there. It's on her Get Loose. Yeah, we got to warm up. You know, like when you go to like sports camp or whatever, like you exercise, you always have to do a warm up. So before we get into like the tutorial, I thought it was only fitting that we do like a warm up, you know, a little warm up. Em's here. Em. Oh, before we start, I got to show you what I got. Is Kat in here? Look, you guys, I got this gluten-free little like Play-Doh. Look, for my little fine liners. I think it's purple. You guys know, Kat's been telling me forever that I need to get the Play-Doh. So for my like these, you know, to put on the caps. So I finally got. So apparently, from what I've been told, these like 0.7 millimeter, like they go really slow, like when you go to color with them. So you're supposed to like take the caps out in the back and then put like a little piece of like clay or Play-Doh or something in there. And it's supposed to like make the ink go like faster. So I got a little purple, little like doughy stuff at the Bullseye store today. And of course I had to get purple because duh, that's my favorite color. But ready for this? They didn't have any squishies. They were sold out of all the squishies. But look what they had. They have squishy stickers. Look at this. I thought just on the top. Oh, do you do just on the top of the pen? Maybe. I don't know, Kat. I thought I know. Look at these. They were all out of like, yeah. They were in the back to school section. I know everyone's going to go run to the Bullseye store now. Watch. So it's a sticker. So you can put it on whatever you want to put it on. But it's like literally a squishy. So I got the boba tea just on the top. Oh, like right here? Oh, like cover the little hole? Yeah, like you could put it on your phone. I have a special cap that goes on the end of the pen and it makes the ink flow. So I got the dough and I'm hoping that will help. But look, they also had a donut. Yeah, so you can put this on your phone. I mean, I guess you could put it on anything. Just in the end of the pen. But like this one too. It's like a squishy. Isn't it cute? And it's like they're stickers. They're so cute. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I thought they were fun. Okay, here we go. I thought they were fun. Okay, so we're going to do a little warm up. So here's what I want you guys to do. Grab a piece of paper, whatever you want to write on. And we are going to do some practice blends. Just pick like 2 blends. It doesn't matter, either Ardex, these, the arrow, you know what I'm talking about? The little arrow. They're cute. The bulls. So pick out either an Ardex blend. I'm going to pick out one Ardex and one Ohuhu. And we're just going to do a little like blending warm up just to kind of get us started. So I'm going to actually go with, I think this one over here. So 166, let me find it. 166, 903, 878, and 883. Okay, so I'm going to do that one. And then for Ohuhu, I'm going to do this one here. So I'm going to do G130. And you guys can pick out any one from the list that you want. I'll put both there so you guys can see them. So I'm going to pull out G130. And we're just going to warm up with some very simple blending just to kind of get ready. This is a wonderful excuse for me to buy the 160 set. I know, because a lot of if you look at my Ardex blends. A lot of them have the new colors from the 160 set. They do. A lot of the good greens are in that set. Okay. I'm going to start with Ohuhu. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this up here. okay, is we're just going to start with a simple blend just to like get warmed up. And this is like kind of like what I do whenever I'm like testing out my colors. Is I always just grab a sheet of paper and I just do like circular blending. And we're just gonna practice some blending. So just go, so when I blend, I do circular blending on top of that first shade. And then while it's wet, I take the prior shade and I kind of just go over it with very light motion, circular motion, just to blend the colors together. And that's how I blend on everything. Go over it with the dark, and then I always go back with that prior shade. So like for skies, grass, whatever. Because if you do this while it's wet, you're not going to get that line that sometimes you'll get when you're blending. And that will just give you a more seamless blend. And I think there's like a filter on the screen because it looks weird. So let me see what's going on here. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and blend these together. Okay, so just a very simple blend. Okay, let me see. Is there any effects on? No, there's not. It just looks like. So there's my first blend. And now we're going to do the same thing with the Ardex. So we're just getting a little practice in before we move on to our first tutorial. Same thing here. And before I color anything on my pages, I always, if I don't know that the blends are going to be good colors, I always do this. It's a great way to like make sure you like the blend and that they work well together before you start coloring. And a lot of you are probably like, well, how do you know what colors are good together? I'm going to give you guys a couple little tips and tricks here in a sec. Of how I kind of pick out colors. Now, obviously, I pretty much use my cheat sheet. If you guys don't have a cheat sheet, I highly recommend make yourself one of these little sheets of your favorite blends. Or once you start coloring and you find colors that work well together, write them down. Like I have a notebook that you guys know because I send you guys my sheets, but I basically track a lot of my pages that I do, right? So like I can go back and reference these later and be like, ooh, remember when we did that really cool blend? Like, so I can reference them. So I would highly recommend, like, you don't have to do this for every page, but when you get a blend that you really like, I highly recommend like tracking it because it's fun to look back and find them. Okay. So that's just some basic blending 101. You see, we went from light to dark. Some people go dark to light. You can go either way. I always like to go light to dark, but it's just like a personal preference. And then you're always going to want to, once you do that darker color, go back with that lighter color and do very like short circular motion to kind of blend those colors together. Now, one thing, if you're not using, I highly recommend getting yourself is one of these like little marker holders because when you're coloring and blending, you're going to be grabbing markers fast, right? Because you want to blend before the ink dries. So if you get yourself a marker holder, and it doesn't have to be this specific one, it could be, you know, there's a lot of different options. Obviously, I always recommend Marker Monster because she's my girl. But whenever you're blending, you can just quickly pick them up and you don't have to like cap them in the middle of the blend. So if you have something like this, I highly recommend it when you're doing grass, sky, like anything like that. It just makes it easier to like grab your colors. Just do me a favor. Don't be like me when you're done. Make sure you cap the markers because I have a tendency to not cap them. And then I'm like, oh crap, I've left them out for like 4 hours like that. So always make sure you close them when you're done. Okay. So, I was going to tell you some tips and tricks for finding colors. So whenever you're working on a page, where's my TIFF sheet? Where is my Starry Eye color? Most of you, I believe, have something similar to this, which is my sheet, or something like this if you're using Ohuhu's. I highly recommend using, it doesn't matter if it's my sheet or this one or whatever sheet you want. Get yourself a chromatic sheet because this is going to make blending so easy. If you look at like the sheets that like, I'm going to use Artx for an example because I have all their markers and all their swatches right here. Like, if you use the swatches that come with the markers, it's very hard to blend because they're all on different sheets. Let me find, right? So, like, if we look right here, they're all on different sheets. So let's just say I'm looking at this, you know, this green right here. Well, some of them are in other sets and you have to kind of do this and that and cross-reference, and it's hard to tell. So if you're not using a chromatic sheet, I highly, highly recommend it. Now, if you're using Artx, you can actually download mine right here on TikTok. If you go up to my page, it's just like a digital download. Or you can use, I mean, there might be other ones available too, but so you'll see like on my sheet, they're all kind of grouped in a chromatic order, right? So they kind of go in hues and they go from light to dark. So then when you're coloring, it's very easy to find colors that are similar, because when you're blending, you're not going to want to blend like 405 and like 773, right? Because they're so drastically different. You want to try to find colors that are like close together. So like a good blend would be like 179 and 68, right? 405 and 183, right? You want to try to find hues that are close together. And I always like to use 3 colors when I blend. You can blend with 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you want. I always like to usually do 3, especially like when I'm doing characters or bushes or things like that. And same with Ohuhus, right? My Ohuhu sheet is the same way. This is one I just got on the EST. It was just like a digital download, but it's the same way. It's all grouped in a chromatic fashion. So if you don't have a chromatic sheet, that's the first thing I would recommend is getting one of these, because this is going to save you a lot of hassle when it comes to blending. All right, should we get started? I think we should. All right, we are going to be working on our first tutorial. Does everyone have the sheet and or access to the Disco to get the sheet? Let me know that first before we start. Let me know that. Does everyone have the sheet? It should look like this. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, we're going to start with the first one. So I've been working on these sheets for a while, and I was initially going to publish it and kind of like make my own book. Oh, you're in Disco. Okay, let me get you access. Hang on. I was initially going to make my own book and publish it and do a whole thing. And then I was like, you know what? I want to start this blend club, because like when I first started coloring, like there wasn't really any resources like this when I was coloring. You just had to like figure it out. So I was like, I really want to be like a service for you guys that like I can try to help you, like, you know, anything that I've learned along the way. So I was like, well, what if instead of publishing this, we do this blend club, and as part of the blend club for super fans, I give you guys the sheets. So that's what we're doing. So for right now, you guys are the only people getting the sheet. Please ask that, please don't share this out with other people, because I'm trying to keep this just like a resource for our group. Every week we'll be doing a different tutorial, and then by the end of it, you guys are basically going to have a full like tutorial book of all my kind of like tutorials of like, we're going to do skies, we're going to do grass, we're going to do metals, we're going to do snow. I mean, whatever you guys want to do, we're going to do. All right, let me make sure that you have access to the Disco. So these will be fun. It will just be a way that I can share some of the things I've learned along the way with you guys. All right, let me see who I need to get in here. Rebecca. Okay, let me see. I'm going to go to the coloring tutorials, add member. Is your name in Discord the same? Oh, it is. You get a gold star, because a lot of people's names are different in the Disco, and it is so hard for me to find people. Okay, I got you in the tutorial sheet. Let me get you in the other sheet, in the other channel, and then we can start. I wish there was a way to automate this, but unfortunately there's not. Okay, perfect. You should have access to the channels. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? Shall we? I think we should. All right, we're going to do the first one, which is what I call my Grass Blade Grass. What book did we do this in? Bobby Goods, I think. I think it was the Bobby Goods book. Let me see. I think we did this on my 4th of July page. Yeah. So we're going to be doing grass like this, where we're going to be doing grass blades, and then we'll probably add some flowers in. So that's going to be kind of what we're going to be doing in this first little tutorial. Okay, so, and I already have one that's kind of filled out. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to probably be using, it doesn't matter what colors. I'm going to probably use these since I had these written down, but feel free to use any of the greens from any of the sheets. Okay, it doesn't need to be like, if you don't have these colors, you can use Ardex, you can use Ohuhu. I'm going to probably do it twice. One here with Ohuhu, one here with Ardex. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to actually do this one. Let's do this one right here. 166, 903, 878, 883. So I'm just going to pull those out. And then I will pick out the Ohuhu set that we're going to do. Where's 166? Oh, they're right here. 166, 903, 878, 883. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, what should we do for the... I think for the Ohuhus, let's do the one that we just did, which was this one right here. So G130, GY1, G3, and G1. Okay, so those are the colors I'm going to use, but honestly, you can use any greens for this tutorial. It doesn't really matter. Whatever green blend makes your heart happy. Okay, do you guys want to do Ohuhu first? Yeah, let's do Ohuhu first. Okay. So first thing you're going to want to do is get your colors out. I always organize my colors by blend before I start, because once you're coloring, a lot of them look the same or look different, and you do not want to grab the wrong marker. I do it all the time. So one advantage of this is your markers are always going to stay in the right order, and they're not going to shift around while you're blending or roll off your desk. The Ohuhus always tend to roll whenever I'm coloring, so I like to keep them in my marker blender. I need to grab a water too. I'm thirsty. Let me do this first though. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Uh-oh. Tiff. Uh-oh. What happened? All right. So here we're going to do. We're just going to do a simple blend, and we're going to go light to dark. So typically on a coloring page, you're probably going to have like sunlight or moon or something, right? So thank you guys for the gifts. I appreciate it. So like the top of your page is probably going to be lighter than the bottom. So I always, whenever I'm doing this technique, I always do a light to dark blend. So we're just going to take our first color, and we're just going to go in here and, you know, go to about there. You don't want to go too far down with this first shade because it's really just your highlight shade. And then we're just going to take our second color. Thank you guys for the taps and the gifts. I appreciate it. I see all of you. I see you and I appreciate it. Don't worry about tapping tonight, guys, because I want you guys to just color and follow along. And I don't want you guys to have to worry about tapping or anything like that. So don't you worry. And then I'm going to come back in with my first shade. Okay. And I'm just going to do circular blending, and you're just going to kind of blend those colors in together. Okay. Just like that. And I'm going to actually bring this down a little bit more. Tonight is all about us just hanging out and learning some new techniques, and we're not really worried too much about like the FYP or any of that stuff. Okay, so you're going to do that. And then we're going to grab G3 or whatever color you're using, and we're going to do the same thing. I like to do circular blending when I am doing grasses, skies, things like that. I find that it leaves less of a streak line than if you go straight across. So definitely circular blending will help. So I'm going to go ahead, and while it's still wet, I'm going to take our prior shade here and just do some light circular blending on top of this to kind of just blend those colors in together. Okay. And then I'm going to take my G3 again, come down a little bit further. And your blend, remember, that's the good thing about this blend is we're going to be covering this with grass blades. So your blend does not need to be perfect. It does not. So don't stress out about your blend because most of it is going to be covered up anyway. And then we're just going to go in with our shadow color, which is typically down at the bottom of the page or around your bushes or around your trees. Obviously in this box, we don't really have like a scene, so we're not too worried about that, but on your coloring pages, there will be. Okay. And then same thing, we're going to take this shade right here and just do some light circular blending and blend those out. Okay. That is part one. I'm going to give you guys a second to do that. I'm going to grab a water and then I'm going to do the same thing, but with the Ardex markers. And let me write these colors down that we use. So we did G130, we did GY1, G3, and G1. All right. So you guys go ahead and finish that, and then I will be right back. Okay. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Has everyone finished their box? Let me know. Let me know. Have we finished our box? Yes? Okay. I see some yeses. Okay. Well, while you guys wrap up, I'm going to do the same thing with Ardex on this side. So I'm going to take these colors off. And if you guys want to, you guys don't have to do this with both sets of markers. I'm just doing this just so the people that have both brands of markers can see the blends. So we're going to do, what did I say? 166. Okay. 166. We are going to be doing 903. Okay. We're going to go to 878. And I'm just following our blending sheet for those of you that are like, why are you shouting these colors out? And then we're going to go to 883. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing, but I'm just going to do it on with the Ardex markers, just so you guys can see the difference in the blends. Okay, so we're going to start with 166. You will notice on the Ardex markers that they are a little bit juicier. So they're going to blend a little bit easier than the Ohuhus do. Like, so we're not going to have to work as much at the blend, which is kind of nice. And then we're going to go to 903. Same thing, circular blending, going from light to dark. Ooh, this is a brand new marker. I love a brand new Ardex tip. It's so firm. I love it. And then while it's still wet, Kit Kat, thank you for joining the Blend Club. Welcome in. Tonight is our first official kickoff night of our tutorial night. Okay, so you're just going in with that first shade and just blending those out. I'm going to bring this first shade down a little bit more. A little bit more. And for those of you that are on a preview, we only do the Superfan Lives twice a week. We do Wednesday night tutorial night, and then Saturday night we do a color along in a book, whatever book you guys pick. Every other live that I'm on will be free and open to everyone. This is just something I do for my super fans, to kind of give back to you guys for all of your support. Okay, and then same thing. We're going to take 903. And you'll see the difference with the Ardex, how easily they blend compared to the Ohuhu. Like, I feel like you have to do a little bit less work, which is always nice. And then I'm taking 883, which is our last dark shade. And same thing, circular blending, and then you're going to bring this all the way down for our shadow. Okay. All the way down. Thank you guys. Thank you for the heart me's. I appreciate it. And then same thing. We're just going to bring our second darkest shade. And we're just going to kind of do some circular motion to blend those colors out. And there you go. That's the blend. Okay. This is step 1. Step 2 is going to you're going to have shadows. So on most pages, right? Like if I get out a Bobby book, okay, on most pages, you're going to have shadow areas, whether it's underneath a branch, underneath their feet, where is our, like here, right? Like underneath where their legs are, you're going to have areas where there's shadows. Obviously, on our page, there's nothing here, right? There's no tree, there's no character. So we're not really going to worry too much about the shadow. But in real life, your next step would be to do your shadows. And typically, when I'm doing my shadows, I take my 2 darkest colors and I just add shadows underneath the tree, underneath their feet, wherever makes sense where the sunlight is coming down from, that there might be a shadow. So that's going to be step 2. I'm not going to worry about that on here because there isn't anything here. Okay. Step 3 is going to be the grass blades. So we're going to blend one more time. So if you missed the blend, we're going to do it one more time. And then we are going to grab out some acrylics and we are going to start adding grass blades to this. Okay. So I'm going to just take the same shades that I use up above. Okay. One trick, if you guys color on cardstock, do circular blending. It really helps even out that ink and keep your blends even and not streaky. So that's just like a little tip. If you're coloring in a paper book, it's not as big of a deal. But if you're going to be coloring in cardstock, circular blending will definitely help even out your blends. And then before that dries out, I want to go in. The good thing about Ardex is you're going to have a little bit more leniency time to go in because they're going to stay wet longer. So you don't have to rush as much as you do with the Ohuhus. And then we're just going to keep bringing this down a little bit lower. We're going to do our circular blending. Probably do about there. And then I'm going to take my 878. Kat, thank you for tapping. Kat's on tapping duty tonight. Just kidding. She's my mod, so she's here helping out, doing all the things. Doing all the things. Okay. And then I'm going to take the prior blend, right? And we're just going to do some circular blending just to even out that blend. Come back in. Yeah. Well, I told her if she's in here and she's tapping and she's being helpful that I'll let it slide. So she's on tapping duty. Okay. And then we're going to take my last color. My last color here. Okay. And then you can blend those out. We can't have music because it's a super fan live. Otherwise, I would be playing my playlist. Okay. So basically the same blend is up there. Now, we're going to want to start adding in our grass blades. So at this point, you're going to want to grab out some acrylics. It really doesn't matter what acrylics you use as long as you're using 3 colors. I'm going to be using guagnas. So if you have guagnas and you have the full set and you have these colors and you want to grab them out, you can definitely go ahead and grab them out. Otherwise, just grab a dark, a medium, and a light. And when I say light, you want to have almost something that's like a yellowish green. So go ahead and pull out some acrylics. If you don't have acrylics, you could use alcohol markers if you prefer. I actually like to use acrylics, but it's like a personal preference. Some people do it with alcohol markers. So if you don't have acrylics, you can definitely use some different shades of alcohol markers. Okay, so let me pull out my guagna greens here. And let's see, 847 is right here. I'm going to pull out 673. 673, where are you? Where are you? Why am I blind? 673. Did I write the wrong color down? 673. Interesting. Well, I'm going to pull out just a random color, I guess. Let's go with 740. Yeah, that will work. Okay. And then what's the dark one? 796. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay. So in case you guys want to see the colors that I went with, it's going to be like a light yellow, a medium green, and like whatever your darkest green. Okay. And you can use any acrylics. It doesn't need to be guagnas. It can be Art X. It can be Just Art, whatever you have. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be drawing in grass blades, starting with the darkest acrylic. And you don't want to put too much pressure down because you want to try to keep your lines a little bit thinner. If you have a fine tip on your acrylic and you want to use that, you can definitely use that. But you want to just do like almost like feathering motion, kind of like how I do my sunset sky. And that will help get long, thin kind of grass blade streaks. Okay. And you'll see I'm kind of doing them like some at an angle, some straight. We want this to be like, it's grass, right? So there's no perfect like line of how grass looks like. So feel free to like add some different heights, add some that are longer, some that are taller, some that are kind of wavy with the wind. You can kind of just put your own little spin on this. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead in with my dark acrylic. And this is why I said your blend really doesn't matter because we're going to end up covering up most of it anyway. All right, you can just add some up here. All right, so you're going to do that. I give it a second to dry because you really don't want your like acrylics to smudge. So I'm just going to give it a second to dry. If you have a fan, you can take a fan to it. And then we're going to go with our next shade. And we're just going to basically keep going light to dark or dark to light. Okay. So now I'm going to take my second shade. And you want to try to not cover up all the ones we just did. So I kind of go like in between. Some of them I cross over. But you don't want to cover up like all the dark ones. You want to leave them. So you're kind of just like filling in the space in between wherever like there's space. So you can kind of like have some that curl in, some shorter ones, some longer, some that are straight, some that are kind of And you're just kind of coming in and filling in your grass with these blades. Let me know if I'm going too fast or if you guys have any questions or anything. Okay, so you're going to do your second shade. Give that a second to dry. Once that dries, we're going to go in with our final shade. Okay. And then on this one, I'm not going to do as many lines, especially down at the bottom, because there's going to be more of a shadow. And as I get further up, we'll kind of start to add a little bit more. So I'm just kind of coming in and adding some lighter yellow blades in with our grass. And if you ever have a crash out on a page and you really don't like your green blend, just do this, because you're not even going to really be able to tell you'll see your blend through the page, but you're not going to be able to see like streak lines or any of that. So this is like a really good technique if, you're not like super happy with your blend. Okay. So we're going to go light to dark or dark to light. And then the last step is to just take your white gel pen and add a little bit of white grass blades. Where is my Marker Monster pen? Where are you? Why does it keep going missing? Oh, it's over here. That's why. Hang on. Let me grab it. All right. And then the last part, you can take I would have done this here, but I'm lazy and I don't feel like doing the blend all over to save time so we can get to the next one. So I'm just going to do it here in this box. You can go ahead and kind of add. I typically keep these shorter with the white. You can add some white wherever you feel like it needs it. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, the extra part is you can actually draw in some flowers. So we are going to add in a few flowers. You can take out whatever acrylics that you want to use for this. I'm going to probably just pull out like a pink and an orange. But use whatever colors you want to use. And we're going to add some flowers into our grass. So I'm going to take an orange and maybe a pink. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a grass blade that I want to do this on. And I just do 1, 2, and then 2 at the bottom. So you do 1 at the top, 2 on the side, 2 on the bottom, and just kind of make them look like little daisies. Do another one right here. We can go ahead in with our pink and do the same thing. So we're just going to add in some little wildflowers just to give a little bit of snazz to our page. Okay, a lot of the coloring books will already have flowers in your grass, and if that's the case, then you can skip this part. I love doing this. It just gives a little bit of, floral brightness to your grass. And then I usually take my white gel pen or whatever color I want to use, and then I usually, kind of give the center something, a little centerpiece. Okay. And that is the first tutorial. That is the grass blade grass. Okay. How are you guys doing? Did you guys finish? Are you still working? Let me know in the chat, just so I know how we're doing on timing. Let me know. I'll give you guys a couple minutes if you want to work on this before we start the next one. So Whenever you guys finish, let me know in the chat. That way I can kind of gauge who's still working and who's... Okay, Shelly's done. Perfect. M's done. Ooh, you guys, while we're waiting for people to finish, go ahead and post them in the Disky in the... Where should we post them? I guess in the request channel for now. I'll make a new channel. Go ahead and post them in the request channel if you have access to that channel in the Disky, because I want to see them. I want to see them. Okay. All right. Chelsea's done. Rebecca's done. And then, yeah, we'll give everyone just a couple minutes to finish. Shay's done. Oh, my God. Everyone is coloring. I love it. This is exciting. Okay. All right. We're going to give everyone just a minute to finish up. And then the next one we're going to do is going to be more of like a meadowy grass. Very similar technique, but a little bit different. So I'll give you guys a minute or two to finish. I am obsessed with these little things. They're so cool. But where am I going to put these on? These little squishy? My phone? I could put it on the back of my phone like it's a little... Ooh, Shelly just... I want to see what you guys are posting. All right, let's see. I want to see what you're posting. Oh my God, it looks so good. Oh, I love it. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That's what you would do? Oh, I love this. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. We're going to be grass masters by the end of this, I promise. Okay. I'm going to feel with this Play-Doh. Oh, this is... It feels different than Play-Doh. All right. Interesting. Ooh. I did lazy flowers. I love it. I'm here for it. Ooh. This feels good. I love it. I love seeing your guys' progress too, because then we can kind of like look back and see how we did like on today's like blend versus like in a month or two, you know? It'll be fun. All right, let's move on. So the next one we're going to do is going to be our meadowy grass. So instead of doing grass blades all over, we're going to be doing them in kind of like sections, just certain sections of the page. So we're going to do a very similar technique, just slightly different. So here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. All right. Let's use... I guess I'm going to use these Art X's, and then, yeah, we're going to do patches. So I'm going to use the Art X, but you guys can use whatever color you guys want. I'm going to go with probably these colors right here. Unless you guys want me to use Ohuhu. We could actually, you know what? Let's use the Ohuhu. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? I'm going to go with this one. We haven't done this one yet. So I'm going to go with G110. Do we need an invite for the disco? If you're a super fan and you don't have access, just send me a DM and let me know. And I'll make sure that you guys get access. Unfortunately, I have to kind of manually do it. So if you're not seeing the super fan channels, just send me a DM on the Disky and I can make sure that you have access to all the channels. And if you're a super fan and you're not in the Disky and you need the link, let us know and Kat can put it in the chat. So you guys can have access to all the channels. That's where I'll be posting like all the stuff. So yeah. What am I looking for? GY1. Where is GY1? I'm blind, I swear. Where is GY1? Oh, it's probably in this giant pile. Yep, right here. And then I'm doing G3. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. This one is actually going to be pretty easy because we're not going to have to go too crazy on the blending. We're going to do the whole area one shade, and I'm just going to put the colors that I'm using. Bindi, I believe you already are a super fan. If you're in this live, that means you already are a super fan. So all you need is access to the Disky, which I can get you. But you should already, if you're able to get into the live, you should already be a super fan. Because the live is limited to super fans only. Okay. Unless you're a mod, which Kat, but she's helping me out. She's working. Okay. So here we're going to go. So you're just going to color the entire area of your grass one shade. So this is easy. You're going to do one shade for your entire grass. And then once we do the initial shade, we're going to, while it's wet, we're going to move a little bit quick. We are going to add some meadow depth areas into our grass using the next darkest shade. I'm using G110, GY172, GY1, and G3, but feel free to use whatever color you guys want on this. The color really doesn't matter. But if you want to follow along, I'm using G110, GY172, GY1, and G3 are going to be the blends. I am already in, but need to be in the fans only on the Disky. Okay, Kit Kat, I'll make sure to get you added as soon as we get done here. Thank you so much for joining. We're so glad to have you. And then you guys, the next super fan event is going to be on Saturday. And remember, I record all of these. Needs to translate them. Here, I can translate them. You want me to translate to new codes? I got you. I got you. I got you, M. All right, so G110 is G41. GY172 is G43. GY1 is G49. And G3 is G311. So if you're using new codes, old codes, new codes. Boom. Okay. Now, second step. We are going to take our second shade, which is GY172, and you kind of want to do this while it's still wet, but it doesn't have to be fully wet. And you're just going to kind of add in some patches. And I typically go like little triangles coming off the edge of my page, but you can do these wherever you want. Sometimes I even do some little ones like there. So we're just going to add in some little shadows, and I'm not doing it over here because I'm going to do Ardex over here, that for my Ardex besties. Okay. So you're just going to kind of do this. And then I like to then add a little bit of a shadow with my next darkest shade. And I'm typically going to kind of just like blend that in at the bottom of the patch. Okay. And then I'm going to take the shade that I just colored the patch in and just kind of blend those out just to give it a little bit of a shadow at the bottom part of the little area. So I'm just doing a little bit of a shadow and then coming in and blending those out. Okay. And I'm just primarily doing it down along the bottom and a little bit up the side at the end. Okay, same thing here. Blend them out. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. And I'm just kind of doing almost like stippling motion when I'm doing the shadow. And then you're going to come in with your next shade here. Okay. and blend them out. So you're going to have basically, it should look like this, okay? I'm going to do the exact same thing with the Ardex markers on this side, so that way in case anyone's using Ardex, you guys can kind of see what those look like. All right, what should we do on the Ardexes? Let's do, I guess we'll do the same colors that let's do these because these are kind of similar to this. So let's do 173, 59, and 892. And if you don't have Ardexes, don't worry about it. You can skip this part. But we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to take 173, and I'm going to go ahead and color in the entire box. I'm trying to make sure when I do these tutorials that we cover both brands because I know not everybody has Ardex and not everyone has Ohuhu. So hopefully this will cover everyone. And if you're using Bianos, the codes are going to be the same as Ohuhu, so that should be easy. That should be easy to convert them. All right, so we're just going to do 172. Cover your entire grass area. All right, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to take 59, right? And you're going to just draw in your little shadows. Do like a bigger one. You can do them round, you can do them triangular, whatever makes your hearts happy. And then we can even do another small one right here. Okay. Once that's done, same thing. We're going to take our darker shade and we're going to stipple in at the bottom and add our little shadows to our little meadow areas. And then we are going to blend. Okay. And you're going to do that on each of your little meadows. How are you guys liking this? Let me know if the flow is good, if the speed is good. Are we liking the content? Let me know. This is the first blend, whatever you call it, blend lab that we're doing together, like a tutorial with you. So let me know how you guys are liking this. We're going to be doing this every Wednesday night, and I don't know what we're doing next week. A lot of you requested metals, so we might do like gold, silver, rose gold. And luckily my bestie Marker Monster has actually some great palettes already available that you guys can get with all of the blends. So if you're looking for them, I will share those codes before next week. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and add our shadow. Adding our shadow. All right. So step one is done for both Ohuhu and Ardex. We've done our little meadows. We've added our depth area. Typically on a coloring page, this is going to be like under a tree or under a bush or somewhere where there's going to be some shade. Some shade. We love some good shade. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. All right, now we're going to start drawing in our grass blades. Okay. And you're going to use the same acrylics. If you want to use alcohol, you can also use alcohol. We're going to do the same effect that we did up here. This time, we're only doing it on the meadows. And then we're going to add some random ones in between. Where's the page? Where's my tutorial sheet? So we're going to kind of do this. And then we're going to draw in some flowers. We're going to stipple in some depth around the edge. And we're going to kind of have this whole little grassy meadow pattern. So, ready? Ready? I'm going to pull those acrylics out. I'm going to pull the acrylics out. Okay. You guys are quiet, so hopefully that means you all are coloring. I'm hoping. All right, same thing. We're gonna go dark to light, okay? Use whatever acrylics or gel pens you want. I'm using the Langos or the Guagnas 796, 740, and 847. Same colors that we used on the first tutorial. Same colors. Okay, I'm just trying to see who's in here. Ooh, lots of the besties are in here. Hey, hey, hey. Kim's in here. Troublemaker. Okay. Trying to see. Okay, perfect. All right, here we go. Here we go. And on the meadows, I actually want to make the grass a little bit taller. Oops, that was a little thick. And instead of doing grass like we did up there, you're going to almost make them look like little bushes. Okay, so I usually do about 2. And we're just going to do like little bushes like this. I see you in the chat. So I'm just doing little bushes. Okay, just like that. Cat's tapping. Look at this. I'm impressed. I am impressed. You are actually behaving. All right, so we're just drawing in like little bushes onto our little meadows. And you can make some longer, some that go sideways. Okay. All right, just like that. And then if you want to add just some like little random ones, you can add some little like grassy areas that are kind of just outside your area. Now I'm going to go in with the second shade and we're going to do the same thing. Okay. Just going in with our second shade and adding a little bit of depth to our little bushes. Same thing here. And we can add a little bit there. Actually add. Then I'm going to take my light. Okay. It's so weird without my music, but we're not allowed to play music on Superfans. No music is allowed. At least not copyrighted music. Okay. So you have that. Once that's done, I like to take whatever my darkest color is. I think we can have instrumentals, potentially. I got to look. And I like to just go and add a little bit of a shadow underneath our little bush area. Okay, so you can just kind of come in and give a little bit of a shadow right under where those little bushes are. Same thing here. Okay. Then I like to bring in a little bit of dimension. So then what I'm going to do with the colors is we're just going to do some stippling in between. You can kind of, wherever you have open grass area, you can kind of take your blend colors and just add a little bit of stippling. Okay. Like I said, no right or wrong way to do this. I'm just doing little, and if you hear people say stippling, it's basically just taking the pen and or the marker, and you're just kind of doing little dots. And a lot of people do this on bushes, on trees. You can do it on your grass. Just looked it up. It's still copyright. Yeah, that's why I haven't had anything, Kat. That's why I haven't had anything. Exactly. Tiff plays by the rules. You know, if we want to add a little bit of dark, we can add a little bit of dark. And we're just kind of giving our grass a little bit of dimension. Okay, now the fun part comes in. Now we can kind of start drawing in flowers. So same thing. You know what? Let's bring a purple in this time. A purple, and we'll do a pink. Not Kat trying. Kat's always trying to get me into trouble. On a daily basis, she tries to get me into trouble. Okay, and one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab... Kat's always trying to get me into trouble. There's nothing new. This has been going on for like a year now. I'm going to draw in some singular stems. I'm actually using a fine tip for this because I'm going to add some little bluebonnet purple flowers. So this is one of my favorite flowers to draw in. So I'm going to take a purple, starting with the darker color, and I'm just going to kind of draw in like a little blue bonnet on that stem. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. That way you guys can kind of see. So wherever these singular stems are, I'm just going to kind of do like a purple little flower just to give it a little bit of, you know, fanciness. Okay, so you're going to do that. Yes, we love a good flower. Okay, and then in the rest of the area, I'm going to do the same little daisies like we did up there. And you can just pick random spots wherever you want them to go. So, you know, you can do, and I just do one on the top, two on the side, two on the bottom. Okay, one on the top, two, and that's it. Okay, we're going to take the lighter purple. Shout out to Ardex. And on top of the little blue bonnets, I'm going to just do a little bit of dotting just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension. Okay, like so. And then we can add a little bit of pink flowers. So we can come in here, one on the top, two on the side, two on the bottom. And wherever you feel like flowers are needed, you don't have to put them on every mound. You can kind of choose where you put them. But we're just going to go ahead and just add some little daisies to our page. Okay. And I'll probably put one here. Okay, and then let's just do one more right here on the single grass. Okay. And then I'm going to take my white gel pen from Marker Monster, and I'm going to just add a couple little white shorter blades on the front of the bush. Okay. Okay. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how it's going. And then I like to take on my blue bonnet and do a couple white dots just to kind of give it a little bit of texture. Okay, and then same thing. If you want to do like a yellow center or a white center or whatever you want to do on your flower, that will kind of make your flower come to life. Okay. And there we have our second tutorial. Boom. Boom chikalaka. How's it going? Hi. Thanks for the heart me. How's it going, guys? Who is Who's still working? How is it going? How is your blend going? Hi. Let me know. Let me know. Like, I don't know if I like the first tutorial. Oh, I know. And these are fun because sometimes it can get like some of these books, like where is my Whimsy Pop? I'm going to show you an example of when doing this will help you because some of these books have massive grass areas, like insane amount of grass areas, and adding a little bit of dimension, it kind of takes the pressure off you from like having to cover an entire area in a blend. So like this one, this page was a massive, like look at that grass area. So by covering it in grass blades and flowers, it just gives a little bit of a pop to the page. And especially if you're not happy with your blend, it's a great way to kind of cover it up. You can do sunflowers, you can do daisies, you can do blue bonnets, you can kind of just like mix and match, but it's like a really pretty easy little thing you can do to just add a little bit of fluff onto your grass. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. It's 8:47. I was going to do the dirt one, but I have a 9 o'clock stop time and I feel like we've gone through a lot and I don't want to like overwhelm you guys with too much on the first night. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll record the dirt one tonight and I will put it on the Tubi for you guys and with the other ones. That way we're not like doing too much. But it's just going to be basically the exact same thing that we did here, but instead of green, we have dirt and we're just going to do the little grass on top. So I'm going to do this because it's close to the stop time. I'm going to do this as a tutorial on the Tubi and I'll post it with the other ones for you guys. Okay. So I think that was everything we were going to cover. Let me know in the chat. How did you guys like this? Is there anything I can change to to how we do this to make it easier? Was the speed good? Let me know. 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 I also need to know, where would you use the dirt one? So a lot of Bobby Goods. Where is the Bobby Goods fall book? Where is the fall book? Is that this one? No. A lot of like autumn pages. I'm trying to find an example. So like here, this is an old page. I did this probably like 6 or 7 months ago. This is like back in the day, but like you would do it in a lot of like autumn pages where you do like dirt. And then you want to just add a little bit of grass. You could also do it like on farm pages. But yeah, a lot of like autumn. I would consider it more of like an autumn kind of vibe, or anywhere where you have just like dirt, you know, like dirty, kind of like dirts. But I will post that. So let me guys know in the chat before we hop off. What would you guys want to like, what kind of tutorials would you guys want me to do next? There's skies, there's brick, there's cobblestone, I mean, we could do anything. We could do glitter effect. We could do the moon glow. We could do, really like anything you guys want. So let me know in the chat what you guys, like what are the tutorials that you would be most interested in doing? That way I kind of can get a gauge. Okay, so metal, snow, brick, sky. Everyone loves the skies. Skies are fun. I love a good sky. Water, metals. Okay. Water. We're actually doing water on Saturday, Kat, in the color along. JK. She likes to troll me. Brick is good. Okay. Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. We'll vote between metals and brick for next week. So smiley face for metals, sad face for brick. Go ahead and vote. Smiley face for metals, sad face for brick. And this will be for next week. And if we do metals, we'll do silver effect, gold effect, and rose gold, I think, will be the 3. Ooh, a lot of people say metal. Okay. Okay. Keep voting. Okay. So primarily metals. Interesting. Metals are good. You can do a gold on a lot of things. A lot of things. Okay. Can we do the brick? Yeah, let's do that then. We will do metals and then we'll do brick. And if you guys have any other requests, just put it in the Disco. There's an entire channel called Requests where you guys can put tutorial requests, page requests. As super fans, you guys literally get to call the show. So if there's like a page you want me to do in my morning lives, and then Sky, okay, you guys literally have like pretty much the say over everyone else. So if there's like a page you really want me to do or a book you want to see in the morning, let me know. So we'll do this every brick and stone. Okay. We'll do this every Wednesday, and then Saturdays we will be doing a color along. We're going to be doing, I'll show you the page we're going to do this Saturday, just so you guys can check it off. It's going to be, oh, thank you guys for the gifts. Barbara, thank you for the palm tree and the mushroom. You guys are so sweet. Also, shout out to anyone who went to my battle last night. You guys are amazing. So this is the book I'm going to be coloring in for the color along. If you don't have it, you can actually get a digital download from Whimsy Pop's place. Oh, thanks for the hand heart. But we are going to be doing the pool page, which was a request. Let me see, where is it? And basically how the color alongs work is I give you guys an entire palette ahead of time, and then we color the page together, and I go super slow. So even if you're like a beginner, we're going to go really slow. So we probably may not finish the page in one live, but we're going to do like a fun sky. We can apply some of the things we learned on the grass. We'll probably do like a jelly effect on the float. We'll do water on the pool. We'll do like glow. We'll do a lot of different things. So you couldn't find the digital. Message me. I'll see if I can get the link and I can send it to you. The direct link to it. So yeah, so this is what we're going to do Saturday. I will probably send out the palette. What's today? Today's Wednesday. I want to try to get it to you guys by Friday morning, so you have plenty of time to like grab your markers and do all the things. But that's going to be the next Superfan Live we do. Will be on Saturday afternoon, and it will be recorded in case you can't make it. Otherwise, all my regular lives will still happen at the normal time that they normally do with everyone. So I'll still be live in the morning. But I'm going to hop off. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll post this in the channel in case you kind of want to reference this for anything. And then I will see you all again next week. Have a great night. Bye.